Hey guys, today we're taking a deeper dive into the 2019 safety ratings for the sedans and crossovers SUVs in the American market. And why are we doing this?
Well, recently we took a look at all of the 2019 Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the IIHS, top safety pick ratings, top safety pick and top safety pick plus.
Yes.
But that doesn't paint the whole picture, right? There's a lot of other cars that they rated, and you guys really want to know why it is that certain cars didn't quite make the cut.
We've read as many of your comments as possible, and in this video we're going to go over some of the near misses, so basically cars and crossovers that didn't quite make the cut for the safety top ratings, which were 57 cars actually did make. Then we're going to look at some fails, some cars that really didn't make it.
And then we're going to answer some of your guys' specific questions about why certain manufacturers were not in the list.
But before we do that, let's define how the testing is actually, how do you qualify for this?
Over here we have our handy dandy legend. Obviously our friend Zach, our producer, has put out all this information that tells you all the different ratings that certain cars got in each category. But here's what all these letters mean. A G is a good rating, that's the best rating you can get. A is for acceptable, M is for marginal, and P is for poor. So these two ratings are on the better side of things, and these two are on the worst side of things. This legend of good, acceptable, marginal, and poor is for all the crash test ratings, but you guys should also know that the frontal crash prevention has its own rating system, from not rated to basic to advanced, and then the best rating is superior. So superior is the one you want to be going for, but you can qualify for a top safety pick with either superior or advanced. What do you need to get each rating? Well, there's two tiers, right? There's the top safety pick and then the top safety pick plus. To get rated as a top safety pick, you need to have a good or acceptable rating in the passenger side overlap test, plus a good rating on all other crash tests, as well as good or acceptable headlight ratings. And then you also need an advanced or superior rating for frontal crash prevention. But to get the top safety pick plus, the most prestigious award that the IIHS gives out, you have to get a good rating on every single crash test, plus a good headlight rating, and once again, advanced or superior ratings on the frontal crash prevention.
Basically what IIHS is doing is they're making the test harder and harder every year. And they're adding new tests. For example, a couple years ago they added the headlight test, and then recently they added the small passenger overlap test.
And of course, guys, we will go ahead and give you a solid look at both our safety fails and our near misses list. We'll put the whole thing up on the screen for you. You can pause, you can take a look at all the different ratings that we found on there if you would like to. So for a lot of these cars that didn't make the list of top safety pick or top safety pick plus, well, frankly, the reason was they didn't have a good enough rating on the passenger side small frontal overlap result, or they didn't have a good enough rating on the headlights. Which, if you take a look at this list over here, you can see that basically everything that didn't quite make it is missing one of those two things. If you're missing either of those two things, you're automatically disqualified from having a top safety pick rating or top safety pick plus rating, which is why many things didn't make that cut. But should we go ahead and get through some of the more interesting near misses on this list, Andre?
Hell yeah, let's do this. And we have a list that represents basically every manufacturer. This does not include every single vehicle out there for 2019, but at least you can get an idea of what's happening here. So the Alfa Romeo Giulia, for example, got good ratings and everything, superior rating here in the prevention column, but did not have the small overlap test available. Booyah, you know, it's a good car, but it didn't qualify.
Yeah, it was really safe according to almost every test, but the fact that it didn't have the passenger small frontal overlap automatically disqualifies it from having a top safety pick rating. These cars too, Andre, they're some of the more popular vehicles from certain manufacturers. Maybe not necessarily by sales figures, but we wanted to choose cars that you guys would be interested in to show you, well, how they did on their safety ratings. Take, for example, the Camaro and the Mustang, right? Those are two pretty popular vehicles. Why did they not make it?
Well, acceptable here, and not rated once again. But look at this, headlights. The Mustang and the Camaro both are not rated on the headlight test, and the way that IHS does this test is they run certain courses at night, they measure how high the headlights are, how wide they point, and also that you don't blind the opposite traffic. They take everything into account. For example, another new vehicle is the Cadillac XT5, had a marginal rating for the headlights, disqualifies as just.
Instantly. A lot of you guys too were asking about companies like Volvo, a brand known for making very safe vehicles. Why didn't they get top safety pick ratings? Well, frankly, the S90, the XC60, and the XC90 were all not rated for the passenger small overlap test. Again, that is an instant disqualification. Also, they had just acceptable headlights, which doesn't disqualify them, but it is interesting to note that the headlights, well, they actually got a lot of people on the headlight rating this year.
Let's take a look at another popular vehicle, the Lexus RX. Once again, not rated for passenger small overlap test, but it got acceptable rating in headlights and superior driver assistance crash prevention system.
What about something like, I don't know, we have this in the office right now, Andre, the Toyota CHR. This one did good on almost everything except for the headlights. It got a poor rating for its headlights, and it was not rated on its frontal crash prevention. And once again, that'll just take you right out of the running for a top safety pick rating.
By the way, IHS says that they will continue testing. So they announced this first 2019 batch of cars, but some of the cars are still being tested in progress. As soon as we get extra information, we'll let you know.
Exactly. All right, Andre, how about we talk about some of the safety fails for 2019?
Well, this list may seem fairly obvious in some respects because a lot of the cars on this list are older designs. For example, the Dodge Challenger, the Chrysler 300, the Charger, the Journey, the Escape and the Explorer that are soon to be redesigned, right? As soon as a manufacturer redesigns a vehicle, they have all this new crash test qualification to consider. And as soon as they come out, I would expect them to improve dramatically. But let's take a look at some of the existing ones. Ford Explorer is the most popular three-row crossover right now.
One of the best sellers in its segment.
Right, but it's not doing so hot in the small overlap or overlap tests here, marginal and poor. And once again, poor headlights.
And it had a basic frontal crash prevention. Now, we're not trying to say that these vehicles are unsafe necessarily, but what these statistics imply is that you have a greater chance of being injured when you get into a crash. That's what these ratings essentially tell you. Another car that did pretty poorly was the Dodge Journey. It had a poor rating for the driver's side small overlap. It had no rating for the passenger side small overlap. And it had a poor headlight rating.
But here's an interesting part. For example, the Dodge Charger has a superior crash prevention testing. So that's interesting to see how manufacturers are actually adjusting and adding more safety into existing vehicles.
Yeah.
Another interesting one is the Toyota 4Runner, which is once again an aging design. It's been around for quite some time. A marginal, once again, small overlap test, not rated on the passenger side, poor headlights, and not available on the crash prevention systems. Once again, a very popular vehicle, but just not updated to the current safety standards.
All right, so I think we've taken a good look at some of the safety fails and some of the cars that were really close to getting that top safety pick rating. But there's a few other manufacturers that you guys were particularly vocal about in the comments. For example, Andre, what about Tesla? Weren't they just rated one of the safest vehicles ever?
Well, if we look at IHS, which is everything is based on this list on IHS results, the Model 3 had no crash test ratings yet, but a good headlight rating and a superior crash prevention system. Model S had no passenger overlap results, acceptable driver side overlap result, and poor headlights. Model X is not even listed.
Right. So again, guys, to get one of these two ratings from the IIHS, you have to have crash test ratings, you have to have better than acceptable driver side overlap, you have to have better than poor headlights. So the reason that the Teslas didn't get top safety pick ratings is either because they didn't have ratings for certain tests or they didn't do well enough in the IIHS's testing. Another very popular vehicle that a lot of you guys were asking about is the Jeep Wrangler JL. What happened to the JL?
Boom, the NCAP European results were out, and everybody was wondering, where is the new Wrangler? It's not available on IHS listings yet. They're still testing it. Also, the same story for the latest Porsche and Land Rover vehicles. Those were not tested either.
And as a result, we just don't know yet. Like Andre was saying earlier though, guys, this is just the initial batch of ratings from the IIHS. They will continue to update the list as they get to test more and more 2019 models. So we will continue to provide you with those updates as we learn more. I think a lot of you guys will still be curious to see how Tesla does. I'm certainly curious to see how the Jeep Wrangler JL does after hearing about the European test results that came out recently as well.
And also, guys, we haven't forgotten about pickup trucks. The Ram 1500, the new one, has ratings, and we have those ratings on the TFL Truck website, tfltruck.com. And as soon as Chevrolet and Ford update their ratings, especially the midsize trucks as well, like the new Ranger, we'll do one video like this also to compare all of them.
Exactly. Until then, we hope you guys really like this video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And come back to TFLcar.com for the latest news, views, real-world reviews, and when we get them in, more 2019 IIHS crash test ratings.
Thank you, guys.